My client wanted me to do something with these checks, shrinkage cracks in these posts right here. I'm going to imagine you can see them there. There's a few of them here. And there's one about maybe 3 foot long, another one here about 6 inches, and another one about 1.5 feet long, plus other ones on the other side. What I've done before to repair things like that is that I've taken the same species of wood ideally, and this is Douglas fir, and I've made little rips about 1/16 of an inch thick on the back side and down to 0 on the other side. And how I've done that is set up my table saw, and I'll show you that here because I got to make a few more. I have my table saw set at not even 5 degrees on the bevel. I also taped a piece of wood to the fence so I can get my blade literally dead up on the fence without dulling the blade or whatever. And this has already had a rip pulled off of it. It's only about 5/8 of an inch wide, but I can get this down to 0. And I'm gonna, right now I got that 3 degree or so bevel on this side, and I'm gonna turn it around so it'll also match the 3 degree bevel on the other side as well. So I'll have about a 6 degree, and it should fill some of the wider gaps that I have. And I'm also gonna move the fence over a little bit. And here's one that I could probably use. Again, it's like down to 0 on that edge and a little thicker on this edge right here. So all these little slivers that comes off of the blade will come in handy for what I'm looking to do here. So, but because this already has a bevel, I'm gonna move this over, not much. I'm talking just barely anything to get this to clear that blade so I can still come up with 0 at the bottom of this angle that's already put on this piece. This came off with some pretty nice ones. I got some good thickness in the back, and I'm still going to go for a little bit thicker because I got some sizable cracks that will take some obviously bigger pieces. And I'm doing that just by simply leaning the blade over a little bit more. Made a rookie mistake and didn't latch down my fence, and the fence crept away and made a bigger cut than what I was watching. I could tell you a scary story about that one. Now that one came off with a much nicer thick piece, also with an edge that goes out to 0, so it can fill into pieces where it needs to be tapering back out to where the crack is going back to 0, where it's, you know, doesn't become a crack anymore. I have a bucket of water with my sponge, which I always keep handy when I'm gluing, and this little device has been really a nice time saver for me, using this over top of the regular glue bottles. So I'm going to force some glue into this joint right here, and yes, it's going to run out. Yes, it's going to be messy. Try to find a small piece that'll do this thinner gap up here, and also a bigger one here, a long one hopefully, that'll do this one all the way down to that length. I'm going to drop this back so you can see a little bit more of the issue here. Now I'll take some of the excess glue off the face by simply wiping it onto this piece. And it'll also help me see the joint that I'm trying to fill as well. And I just carefully place that into the thing. I'm going to break it off where it gets bigger at, and I'm going to send this in there. Wipe some glue up on the face, one to the side, and send it in there farther. I'm going to also nick the back of it here because it wants to belly in, because it's a tapered piece. It wants to belly in a little to fill that bigger gap that's in this section. And because it's a tapered piece, it will go in there because it's a bigger space for it to fill, but it wants to buckle the back. So I'm notching the back of the piece of material so it can help that buckle go into that crack there. So that one's looking pretty good there. And I see I actually cut it off a little prematurely. So I'm going to find my piece that I worked with and break it off where that gap gets bigger. Now that I see what I'm doing, my own self gets in my own way. So let's get some glue down to that point and get that wiped off. Get that pushed on in there. Now that's stopping good right there, and it's dropping in really big here. Let you get a little side shot. You see this side, because it's a wider gap, it's fitting that taper better. This part is shoving in farther than this is, because this is the thinner part of the crack and that's the other. So when this is all done, I'll be able to, when this is dry, I'll be able to sand all this and that crack will go away. And if there's any cracks that are left over, I can probably run some glue in there while I'm sanding it. And those little bitty cracks, I'm talking like hairline cracks, will just simply be filled up with the glue and the sawdust from sanding over top of it. It'll clog up a piece of sandpaper, but it'll fill that joint up also to make that small crack go away. That's the perfect one for it right there. And just get a little whisper to finish off down here at the bottom. There's a base that's going around the perimeter of this, so I have some grace at the bottom. The main reason why I'm doing this now is that I got a rail system that's going to go on this side, and I got cracks on this side too. So I've already took care of a pin knot that fell out up here. I'm letting that dry overnight. When I get back here Monday, I'll sand that down if it doesn't pop out then. Anyway, I got a number of cracks here also that I got to do the exact same thing before I put the handrail system up over top of it. And while I'm assembling the handrail, before I put the balusters in, that'll dry enough for me to sand this off today, that is. And get this looking like the way the GC wants it to look. That little one down there I just white glue, and is one of those hairline cracks. I think I can just simply sand it off and trash this out, but it'll do what I hope it'll do. Find out that it finished drying out, the crack is filled, and I got one more here that's like really nice and wiggly. Very small. All right, I'm going to leave I got a real fine one here and a fine one coming down here about 3 inches long. Actually, there's one more here I can do. But I'm going to leave the fine ones be. I'm going to let the sawdust and the glue do that one. All right, I can come back and come to this after I get this handrail started here and get those knocked out, sanded out. This one up here, probably, again, that'll have to stay at least overnight to do that. And I was taking my chisel and paring them off so that they are now relatively flush with the post and getting the excess wood off the surface and making sure I read the grain right so it doesn't pull into the wood more. Sometimes you got to change direction on where you're paring at, and that way that will have them to where it's a minimal amount of sand. And this is ready to go. I've already done a bunch of it, I'm just showing what the process was. Just got that done for the first major cut on those little filler strips. I got a whole lot of little, not a whole lot, but I got 3 or 4 hairline cracks that the wood wouldn't go into. So I'm going to grab some wood filler, put it in there and let that dry. And this was a 60-degree cut that I gave it just to get the excess glue off, because the glue was a bear to get off. Anyway, so with the filler being done next, I'll switch this down to an 80 grit and give everything another cleanup with the 80 grit. Get rid of the disc marks from the 60 grit and then bring it up to 120 from there. All right, while that's drying, I'm going to grind on this little piece that I have here on the corner where there's a knot that it fell out. Spike knot, they call it. And see if I can get that knocked down without knocking it out, because I glued it in a few days ago. And I know the glue is cured out, but again, I gotta make sure it's not going to fall out. So for that one, so I can knock it down as quick as possible. Not that it means it's not going to fall out, still be doing it quick. That can have its downsides. I'm going to hit it with some 40 grit and see what it does. I'll give you a before look at it. That's it right there. I've already ground on it a little bit, but you can see it's quite proud. And I got it rounded down some, but I'm going to get it flush. And so far it's looking like it's going to do what I'm asking it to do. That turned out. I'm going to hit it with 60 and just go finer and finer until it's ready to go with the rest of it to the 120. Small area like that doesn't take a whole lot.
Maybe that's what I used to do.
There it is right there. It's all flush. I could have put a Dutchman in there and messed with the grain a little bit, but there it is. The grain's working all, and it's like a knot in there, so that turned out well. I got this all sanded down to 120, yeah, not that, but anyway, I got the post sanded down to 120 grit, so hey everybody. I really enjoy doing this type of stuff. Seeing the final product and the ends just coming together just so, even though it has its trials and tribulations, it's something that I really enjoy doing. So if this is something that you learn a little bit something from, that's all I could ever hope to do. Is the reason why I'm doing this, just to spread what little bit I know about a certain trade. I understand this is a dying trade, and if anybody could pick up a little bit from what I'm doing, I'd be really blessed by it. I'd be even more blessed if you liked and subscribed as well. Leave a comment too, please. I really love seeing somebody speak about something that I'm doing. If it's asking a question to clarify something, that would be really cool too. So again, if you like what you see here, please like and subscribe. That would really make my day. So thank you much, everybody. You have a great day, and we'll see you later.